Thank you guys so much. So,
hey, look, social media is popping. Social media is popping right now. So you meet all kinds of people on social media. Don't despise it now. Don't despise it. So with that being said, her name is Sha. We met on social media, and turns out she is writing a book and using her voice and God's gift to be able to show her voice, showcase her voice. So come on, Miss Sha, come on up. All right, Miss Sha, come on up. I'm going to let her tell you exactly about her book, exactly what made her want to use her voice to write a book. Because we all have our different things that we, use as motivation. So Sha, tell them who you are, tell them what made you want to write this book, what motivated you, and then you have the floor to speak about your book and using your voice and your gift.
So I'm Sha Johnson. I live over here in Humble, and like she said, I'm writing a book. The name of the book is The Real Issue in Black and White. And so what happened was, I have a friend in Arkansas. I lived in Arkansas for 10 years. We recently moved back a year ago to this area, and I was a journalist there. One of my friends has a friend who posted about the issues that were happening. When Ahmaud Arbery happened, one of the friends posted, "I'm tired of having this conversation with my son." And we all know here what that conversation is. Tired of having this conversation with my son when he goes to hang out with his witch right friends because they are playing a game or whatever and they're in the neighborhood, and the other moms don't have to have this conversation. I'm tired of having to go through this. I'm tired of these things happening to our people, and it's not fair. Well, my friend that's helping me write the book, he's co-author. It was his idea because he is a white male. And that post helped him realize what white privilege really is. Before that, he thought that we were just saying that white people don't ever struggle. No. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is there is a default mode in our country that is set up for European standards. And through that default mode in our country that is set up for European standards, people get treated differently. People of color, specifically, get treated differently. And even if that person is 12 years old trying to get into their own home because they forgot their key, they are treated like criminals. And it's not fair. And so that opened his eyes. Him knowing me and my background and my skin color, decided that we needed to get that out. Not everybody understood that. And so we started the process of getting this book written. We put out surveys asking simple questions. What is white privilege? Can we just get on the same page with that? Please, can we talk about what these words mean? What is racism? What is social injustice? Are black males targeted in America? And you guys, when I tell you that those answers blew my mind and his mind, crazy. First of all, I expected a lot of white people to say that white privilege didn't exist. That is not what the survey showed. Survey showed most white people did believe it existed. They just didn't think it applied to them because they felt like they were not racist or they were not receiving any special privileges because they just don't see it. They don't realize that anything other than Caucasian is considered other. We have our own shampoo aisle, Lord. We can't be in the same shampoo aisle? Like, really? And it's simple, right? It's funny, but that's white privilege. And so we've been able to educate a lot of people just through sharing these stories. If you want to follow the book, it's coming out, dropping January 15th, which is my birthday, hey, and Martin Luther King's birthday. So I'm excited about that. It's dropping January 15th, but you can follow the book on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, at The Real Issue Book. At The Real Issue Book. All one word. So that's for Facebook and for Instagram. If you want to follow me personally, it's at Shatopia, like SHATOPIA .official, at Shatopia.official. So if you guys don't mind, I would like to go over some statistics that we have discovered on this search for truth and getting all on the same page. I promise not to bore you too much, but these things are important, okay? So, I brought my handy dandy notes. So a lot of people are saying, Black Lives Matter, and then some people are saying, well, it shouldn't be that way. It should be all lives matter. Well, here's the truth. When Black Lives Matter, all lives will matter. How about that? We're not trying to elevate above another race. what we're saying is, can we finally, after 400 years, be considered equal? That's all we want. We don't want to overthrow. We're not trying to take nothing away from you, even though you took it from somebody else. We're not trying to do that. We just want to be considered equal. So let's look at some of the inequality, the systemic racism, the institutional racism that shows up in the numbers in this country. So according to the Business Insider, let's look at employment. Managerial roles in America: white people, 41%. Black people, 31%. 31% of Black Americans are in managerial roles. 41% of Caucasians. That's some inequality to me. CEOs, let's talk about the Fortune 500. 500 companies. Anybody want to guess how many of those 500 CEOs of the most fortunate companies in America are Black? 4. 4 out of 500. That is an inequality. All right, let's look at Congress. The people that run this here lovely country. 535 congressmen in the United States. Guess how many of those are Black? 57. That's not enough. We need to be more represented. Part of that is who's getting voted in. Part of that is who's running. We can't pick our people if we don't run. So we got to get educated. We got to put ourselves in these positions so we can get voted in, okay? All right. In 2018, the average Black worker earned 62% of what a Caucasian person earned in the same position. So let me break that down. That means for every $1 that a Caucasian person earned, a Black person in the same position earned 62 cents. Okay, I'm going to keep going. All right. So overall income, let's look at Caucasians. Caucasians make on average, overall for that whole community, $42.7 thousand on average. Okay, obviously some people make more, some people make less. On average, 42. For Black people, $24.7 thousand. That's $20,000 less of an average. That is inequality. Poverty level. Blacks only make up 13% of the population. But our poverty level is 20.7%. For white people, 8%. That means, as a whole, our people are just not doing as good as some of the other people in our country. That's inequality. Homeowners. 73.7% of Caucasians are homeowners. 73%? What? Okay, for Black people, 44. Not even half of us are homeowners, you guys. That is inequality. COVID out here acting the fool. I'm going to need her to go back where she came from. It is real. But COVID is even affecting African Americans at an alarming rate. So again, we only make up for 13% of the population. In Corona, for hospitals, 33% of every case is an African American. 33%. We're only 13% of the population, you guys. So now, let's look at a little deeper into the criminal justice system. Okay? All right. So prisons. African Americans make up 32.9% of the prison population. We are only 13% of the population of the United States. So that means if it was equal, we should be 13% of the prison. We're not. We're 32.9. That is inequality. The average and expectancy of Blacks versus whites to end up in prison, specifically males. For white males, it's 1 in 17. For Black males, it's 1 in 3. 1 in 3 Black males are expected to end up in prison. I have 2 Black sons right there. If I had a third one, that meant one of them was that's not good. How many families do we know that have more than 3 sons? That is inequality. We're only 13% of the population. Okay, let's look at fatalities by police. Now, side note, I was working at a sheriff's office in White County in Arkansas, so I have some friends that can give me like direct numbers, and we've had a lot of discussions about this. On average, more numerical white people have been killed by police. Yes, that is true. However, when you account for the fact that we are only 13% of the population, when you put those numbers in perspective of that, then this is what you find out. If you average it out per 1 million people of that same group, so every 1 million black people, 30 of them get shot by police. For every 1 million white people, 12 get shot by police. That is inequality. That is why we say Black Lives Matter, not all lives matter. That is why we just want to be elevated to be equal with everybody else. The first record of slaves in America, supposedly, was 1619. And it's in the textbooks and all the stuff. Here's my issue with that. It's not true. There were hundreds of slaves here in 1619 when he brought those particular slaves on that particular boat. So, it's inequality. And that's education. So let's talk about the systems that need to change. The reason why we're writing this book is because the real issue is not our skin color. The real issue is not police brutality. The real issue is not racism. The real issue is all these things going all the way back to the 1400s. We have never been equal. That's the real issue. And it's never been addressed. That's the real issue. It can't get healed if we don't talk about it, if we don't get on the same page, if we don't come together with other people that don't look like us. We can't do it alone. We're only 13% of the population. We have to come together with advocates and people that are allies so that we can get some change. So these are the systems that have helped progress the divide between the races and the racism and all the things. The educational system, because how many people are taught about Juneteenth? Texas. There's probably 5 other states now that teach about them, and that's not going to be every state. We got to include Black history with just history. Tell it when it happened. We love that we have a month to celebrate, but not every school does that. Tell it when it happened. We just want to be equal. The law enforcement and criminal justice system needs something. I don't necessarily think that defunding is the right word because they need training, and training costs money. But we need some kind of reform to get things better, right? What about the government and the political system? Laws have to be made. People have to have some kind of balances and checks to go off of. So we need some reforms in that. And none of this can happen if we don't come together, get with our allies and our advocates, if we don't think about those kids that are coming up in this world that we really want to change things for. So that is what I have to say. If you want to follow me, I gave you guys the username. You can do that. And anybody that follows me, I will follow you back if you're on Instagram or whatever. And if you leave me comments or anything like that, I will keep you guys posted on anything that we're doing, especially as the book comes out. So thank you guys for listening to all my stats and why this is so important. If you want to follow the book on Instagram or Facebook, it's at The Real Issue Book. TheRealIssueBook. Like boy, O-O-K. The Real Issue Book. That's Instagram or Facebook. And if you want to follow me personally, it's at Shatopia.official. Shay, S-H-A-T-O-P-I-A .official. Thank you guys.